happen, but this is the radio that I pulled out. Now you're going to see it probably in and out of the video, but here it is as one big piece. And actually, to be honest, showing this right now will make you understand, because this CD player is attached to this radio, so they had to come out together. Now the nice new one is, this is how the new one came. It's a touch screen radio that, you know, takes this place. And I also bought the one with the DVD CD player that goes below it. But they're two separate pieces, so you can actually take just the radio out without taking all the trim work that requires to take the CD player or DVD player out. So it is nice. I can actually just take out the trim around the radio real quick if I need to get back here for wiring or whichever, because I'm doing another install in adding power for my wireless charger for my phone, but that's neither here nor there. So this is what the radio that's coming out. We're going to get into it now. Most of the videos I think came through, but it's weird that a couple of them just didn't take, or something happened in taking them. But we're going to go ahead and get started and start taking the trim panels out to get this guy essentially out of the car. So before I actually show you the video of me starting to rip everything apart to get the radio out and the new radio in, I'm going to go over this install video real quick. Basically, I'm ripping out the old radio, putting the new one in, like I just said, but that entails some cabling and things like that. I'm also installing a dash cam that comes with this kit, or I should say I included with this kit, a rear backup camera with it. Also, there's a GPS device and a microphone for the in-cabin audio. Now, I routed everything to try to keep everything looking as OEM or stock as possible. Obviously, the GPS as well as the dash camera are going to be exposed. You'll actually see them, but pretty well hidden. You don't see them unless you're looking for them. The backup camera, I did run into a small issue with the camera that I actually got from the company that actually makes this. And that's just because my specific version of the Mini Cooper doesn't have a camera that'll fit into where I was hoping that it would fit. But I did end up purchasing an additional camera that looks fantastic. So without further ado, let's start ripping apart the dash and get the old one out. Okay, I didn't want to do a video of everything, but all right, so first thing you can remove real quick is the driver panel here, which is this big guy here. 3 T20 screws underneath, and then you apply it down, and then they just have a couple quick fasteners on each side at the top, and you can pop that out, and then you can get this side panel out, which literally just pops. You just pop it out, and there's just a few quick fasteners, so no screws. And then I did remove this screw and this screw on this panel, but I haven't pulled the panel out yet. I just wanted to get to this part. Then up here, this piece that's behind the steering wheel, if you drop the steering wheel all the way, you just pull it out. There's actually just fastener here and a same fastener on that side. You pry from the bottom is how I did it on both sides. Get it loose. I haven't taken it out, but I haven't needed to, I don't think, so I can just get it here. Now I also have this that I installed that actually screws to the back of this for my phone. I just kind of swung it out of the way, and that's driver's side. So yes, there was one T20 right here in the corner, which I would think, now with that out of there, well, maybe there's one more somewhere. Seems like it's still in there, or it's just popped in there. But there was one T20 there. So yes, by the key there are T20 here, T20 here. And I've already gotten the one that was up here. So once I get all three of those, I should loosen that up. Okay, so now we're loose. Let's see about popping that out. Okay, so let me update you real quick. There's one more screw on the far side over here, on both sides actually. You can kind of see it there. And I didn't see one on that side, one on this side. So 1, 2, everything's ready except for the top. It definitely has something. And that's when I had to go to another online source. So these little corners right here literally pop off. So let me grab. And there's 2 more screws in here, I guess. So I was trying to figure out how this piece comes out, but you don't, you just pop the corners out. Let me may have to get a different tool. Oh, there it goes. All right, so pop and then remove, and then there's 2 screws down in there. Just little clips. Look at that. Okay, and then there's 2 screws down in there. I think they're probably T20, but let me find out. Okay, these are the hardest screws to remove. You have to get it at the right angle. You can kind of see the angle I'm doing it here. So looking at it, they're down in there a little ways, and they are T20s. So that's T20 driver on it, and away we go. So yes, I slowly pulled her out, kind of like this. I had this guy open while I was doing it, and then I closed it after I got it out, move it around. And now I just have one wire. So that's why you gotta be careful. You don't want to break that. That's for the hazard light blinker. But now this is out. So there was one more screw here for the key area, and that just drops down now. I'm just gonna let it sit there. Looks like I have a screw on each side as well as one up top for the radio. I'm gonna see about popping that out and see where that takes me, but I think I could probably pop this out next. I don't think there's any more screws. I gotta look into that. Okay, so it was this. There's a back down here behind this USB, where my USB port is, there's a little, okay? So what I did is I just took a paint can opener is what I have. And it was kind of in there like that, right? And I slid this paint can opener, let me get this out of the way, I'll show you. Just down in here, got behind it and just pulled it out on both sides. Once on this side and then one on this other side. And then she just popped. I mean, once it popped, it just kind of flew out. And then we have, looks like it's that guy right there, which looks bigger, so it must be a T30. So I'm gonna grab my T30. I'm gonna see if it's just that one. Yep, T30, and man alive, that was on there. I could not use my T30 just screwdriver, so I put my bit on a ratchet. I mean, it was on there, and the whole time out, basically, too. It wasn't just loosening up. I think it's just being on there for 10 years. So T30 done, and yes, just the one in the center right there. That's the only one you need to do. Now everything's loose. Okay, these top 2 pieces, and there are 2 teeth, one there, one there. They are in there really well. So this is the first time I was really like, man, am I gonna break something? What's going on here? They're actually clips underneath this felt that, you know, I just put my fingers one on this side and then on that side, and just kept kind of just pull, pop, pull, 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 and trying not to put too much pressure, but you have to tug pretty good. And then she finally pops, and when she pops, it's nice and loose. Now it looks like I have screw there, screw there. That might be it. And that short answer is yes. Once I've got out those 2 screws, the whole, and like I said, this is one big piece, so you kind of got to work your way out. You kind of have to flex this back a little bit. I don't want to remove this because it's good. I'm not messing around with that too much, but it looks like I have enough room to slide this guy up and out. Yay. So it looks like on the back of the radio here, there's just one going in there. Everything goes into the back of the CD player. So there's where all of our connections are going right now. And I'm gonna get everything disconnected for now. So right now I have the dash fully apart with everything out, and I thought I'd stop and start working on this. Looks like there's 2 screws here. I don't know if that I think they just have to remove that, and then we should be able to pop that out. But we're gonna be replacing probably the driver's side light, most likely. You can see there's 2 there. And yeah, then the fun part is gonna be getting it up through here and then on forward. T30 bit, should take that out quick. Essentially, if you can get a tool or your fingers in here, you just kind of pop. So far I've gotten 4 that I popped out. They're actually popping out around this guy rather than popping these guys out, but you know what they are there. So work my way around. 8 of them in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the corner. And then there were 2 more that actually stayed on. So I'll probably get these out and put them back on that, so it'll make it a lot easier to install. But you can see all the components we have in there still. I'll still have to get probably this trimmer right here off. Probably just pops off, but I'll have to move this right here. And yeah, that way we can get up to here. Hey, there we go. So T20, big long screw there actually. And then this guy should, there we go, pops right out. Now we have a path all the way to here. We're almost to where we need to be. We actually might be able to fish it up to that hole from there. So we're getting there. And also, I did pop out all these already. So that's done, and they're back on where they need to be. So now we kind of figured out that for the most part. Now I'm figuring out how do I get from the license plate there, and I can see that there are 4 T20 screws, it looks like. So I'll have to pull that out. I think I'm probably have to take my license plate off too. And then it's gonna come through here somewhere, up in here, I would think. And yeah, well, let's figure it out. License plate off, I may have to remove that too. So I'm gonna take this plate adapter off and see about that light before I remove that black thing. So I put a small screwdriver in there and pop, just basically, there's a spring clip on the far side, so it just kind of pops out, and there's the bulb in there. I think I'm gonna have to take this out no matter what I do. 4 T20 screws, and that's that. So I can actually dislodge that and actually work on adding it to this from a better spot than on the back of the tailgate. Okay, well, camera side, we're gonna get the cables up here for the camera to connect to. Now this is the one side, essentially, power line, and as well as the video line, and then this blue line here actually is a long cable that actually goes down and connects to the reverse light to trigger when we're actually in reverse. But with how this is all gonna work, I'm gonna come up here, they're gonna rest up in here, and I'm gonna actually pull them from right here up through, and then we'll pull them for the rest of it, which includes, you know, a lot of cable actually, as well as a fuse box. I don't know, I may have to look to see how this goes. I may have to pull from the front because this fuse box isn't gonna go in anything. Let me take a peek. All right, let's get you updated. So so here's the fuse box side. Feeding from where the DVD player was, basically down across the back of the dash. Now I'm gonna come back and actually get this attached to, there's a wire back here, right there. I can zip tie to, right down there, keep it out of the way. Over to this side panel. This side panel came out real easily. There's this guy basically popped that out and then pulled the whole side panel out, which is that whole side panel. Fed it all the way to here, pulled it out, and then looped it back around this little plastic piece to get it back, because I'm gonna actually run it along this. And that's gonna make it real easy to get all the way back to that rear quarter panel. So it went very smoothly to this point, other than trying to figure out how I could do it. But yeah, I'm ready to start feeding it into the grommet. Just so you can see, so this, you just pull this straight out, and then this is the thing that, yeah, just put a little screwdriver and pop that sucker out, but that's what she looks like cleaned up. Okay, so I came up here, and now I have plenty of extra cable right here. I'm gonna have to come back, basically go in a little bit, and then it comes back. It's hard to see like that, but I'm just gonna feed this through with my hand, essentially, if I can. Should be able to. So, right there. Probably gonna need both hands, but I should be right in there right now. So I've got it pulled out, and right away I realized that this backup camera, if I'm gonna do it this way, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to, I'm gonna feed this up. I just want these at least up in here. I'd like to have them all the way up here, which basically tells me that this is gonna have to be extended, is what it is. But yep, let's see if I can't get it up there. These are a pain in the butt, but they are what they are. Well, it took 2 attempts, but I just have a metal wire I fed through and taped it onto it like crazy. Put a little, this time put a little silicone on it, And then just keep pushing this together so it's like skinnier and fatter, or shorter and fatter. But now I have basically it through. So just get it pulled through and we'll go from there. So I just left the metal wire on, fed it from that hole up to here, and then I'll feed it again up from there to there. Pretty quick and easy. So I just taped it here periodically because that's where it's going to be. Or I might bring it back out and just go along this line here. That's fine too. Whatever works. For right now, it's there. So, and I did put this back real quick, so that covers everything up. Now it's just about getting these grommets back in, and we should be set. Okay, so I've got this microphone that I don't want just hanging out, because I've done it before where it was kind of like right here in the corner, and you could tell, hey, yeah, that was added. I want to hide it, and I understand I may not get as good voice coverage, but to be honest, most of the time I'm using AirPods or something like that. So this is something I want to make sure it's in here, but I'm not overly critical. I just like it. I would like it hidden. So let's look up. I stuck this guy in this port here, and it just goes right out over here. So I am going to hide that bastard right in there because there is a grill that kind of sits there, and I'm going to have it kind of just sit right there. Originally, I thought maybe I could go in here, and I might. No, I don't. It's not built for it. There's no hole that I can get the cord up through, I don't think. So I think that's what I'm going to go to. Why not? So then putting a 90 degree on this made my life a living, not a dream, let's just say that. So basically I tipped to the front of this and pushed it rather than pull it through, because I couldn't get this to pull right at all just because of the 90. But I got it through, and I did find that there is a hole on the side over here, so I can put the microphone right here. That makes me kind of happy. So that's what I'm planning on doing instead. Rather than putting it here, I'm gonna put it here. All right, well, let me pull through. Okay, that's gonna go down there like that. And that's gonna go up there. I just gotta, just my hands. I gotta get my hands in there. All right, let me check that. Now I may have to adjust it, but there it is. Hidden. And like I said, I'm rarely going to use it, but we'll find out. Maybe it works great up there. I have no idea. I can always kind of redo it and pull it back here, I guess. But this made sense. I don't know. We'll see. And kind of like I do with a lot of my vehicles, I'll pull it over here and then down there and then across the dash and in there. That's the easy section. But while I'm doing that, dash cam has to go up here too. So I figured I'd pull those together once I figure out where this is gonna go. Okay, so I mounted it behind here. So this is where the dash cam's going, right in the center of the vehicle, so it should be a really good view. And I can actually rotate this, but then I just ran the USB up to the headliner and then just kind of pinched it up in here the same as I did the microphone cable. So now we have two cables coming down, one for microphone, one for camera. And the camera I can't see while I'm driving, which is what I like. I like it hidden from my view. No cables hanging down. It's gonna be awesome. All right, so that's on there. Perfect. So now I'm just bringing it down from up here, down along this, and then I'm gonna have to pop this guy back open. I had that open earlier from the dash or the backup camera. So you pop this out, and then this whole thing pops out, and then we can easily feed it through over to the radio. Now for some fun. So I have the dash cam right here. I have the microphone cable right here. I have the backup camera, which I'm still working on, but I have all that stuff right here. And then we have the factory stuff that's kind of only so long, right? So this stuff here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the harness adapter. That's this guy here. Should be able to plug in one way, and we'll go from there. Well, of course I forgot about the GPS. Okay, where do I want to put this? Okay, so one more cable to feed all the way across like I did just a second ago. That's where I'm putting it. Now this is for my iPass to be able to go to Chicago, but yeah, that's gonna go up there. I don't want it up there, but for now, that's where it's going. I'd love to be able to put it on the roof. this will work. Okay, so I started routing everything. So the black connector, the one that connected to the big one that I did before, that goes on the right side here because that's where the port is for that. Everything else basically goes on the left side. Aside from the antenna adapter. So that'd be the only other item. Now the antenna adapter, which I have to put on yet, there are two antennas down here. One's black, one's pink. Pretty sure the pink one's the satellite antenna, maybe for the satellite radio, and the black's for the AM FM, which is what we're going to be plugging into. So I'll connect that here in a second. I did plug in the dash cam into one of the two USB ports that are on the pigtail that connects to the to it as well. I want to actually now get the DVD player installed real quick, which just has these two cables that came with it that I plugged in. So it goes from one side to the other and it connects to the back of the radio. So I'm going to get this inside and put in after I get the antenna brought up. And should be it for now, I think. Right now, I'm the things that these looks kind of crazy in here. I'm going to probably clean this up to either tonight or tomorrow. But I do have the power cable going to the backup camera along with the video feed. So the video feed comes into this backup camera adapter. Pretty sure we have to actually plug the power, so I have to get connectors for that as well. But I don't have the backup camera installed yet anyway, so it's not a big deal. Yay. So I have everything plugged in for the most part. I think I actually forgot to put the FM radio antenna on, but it looks as though we're starting up. I'm getting this exclamation point. I don't know what that is, but letting it start here, see what I get. So we have things there that are moving. Let me I'm gonna get that FM radio antenna on. Geez. Okay, so I just have it tacked up there slightly just so it's out of the way here. Put it on. Okay, so I'm out of gear. It doesn't matter, I guess. Hit the power button. Okay, let's bring that down. I would say that this is good news because that's roughly where I was with the fuel tank. Engine's not even on, so obviously we're getting a light there saying what the hell. Miles per hour, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Brakes on, which I do have, and we're booting up. So I don't know how long this takes every time to boot up, but I am interested to see what this. All right, there we are. Radio.
And how you can support local
okay
area too. It's the 12 days of Christmas with Interiors by Design, supporting vital local organizations.
That's good news, but that's crazy. That's on volume 1. Plenty loud. So I wonder if kind of adjustment I'm gonna have on that, because that's kind of crazy.
Their full menu at gobbiesgalena.com.
We'll find out, I guess. Well, yeah. Wireless CarPlay. I mean, this is the same iPhone that's I'm using right there. There we go. Jeez. I'm on my iPhone right now recording, and you can see that CarPlay is working. It is wireless. When I set up the menu out here, let's see, actually, I'll probably have to go back here. So car. This is the Bluetooth menu, so I'll go back to the main homepage. I hit Bluetooth. And then, of course, my phone wasn't in here, so I hit scan. My phone came up on here. I clicked my phone there, and then I went into the Bluetooth settings of my phone. Select Car Kit is what it was called. Select that. Ask for a password. I just put 0000, and then boom, it paired, and now we're paired. You can see my TV in the other room there is actually coming up as well. I don't need that, but yeah, now we're paired with Bluetooth. Navigation-wise, obviously I do have the GPS antenna up there. and I don't know how accurate this is going to be right this second because I am in the garage. But, oh, let's see, something's going on. Obviously it knew that it was darker in here. Well, that's nice. So maybe I'll come back to that. Skyjic. Apps, which of course there's a lot of apps available for this because, well, the big thing is that you have the Google Play Store there. So a lot of capability. Without me tying too much into it on everything, I can't say too much yet but I can see that I am getting my fuel gauge. So that's a big thing. Miles per hour. I am getting miles per hour. I think, really happy with this. And now I'm not going to finish this up tonight. I'm not in a rush to get it done because I'm not going to be using this car for a couple days. But I want to take the radio back off and actually dress the cables because they're kind of just bunched back there. I wanted to get everything in there to make sure that it actually worked. And that's awesome. So yeah. So part of this backup camera, I'm working on figuring this out, but this lead here that says basically you hook up to the reverse light. With the manual transmission I have, I don't believe I need to do this because upon testing that radio, it goes into backup camera mode no matter what. So I don't think I actually have to physically use this, but we'll find out. I still have it here. Don't have the camera hooked up yet anyway, so we'll figure it out. Okay, so I cleaned things up a little bit. Things that were tied together, I taped them with this Templex cloth tape. Everything's connected exactly. Well, we've already done tests, or quick tests at least, to make sure everything is connected and everything looks good. So I'm going to start buttoning things back up. Last night I had to actually go drive this vehicle and it was actually working fine. The only thing that I could see so far, there's maybe a couple of settings on this guy that needs to change. Otherwise, I think we're good to start putting things back together. So that makes me happy. So because my screwdriver wasn't magnetic, these screws stayed in their hole, but I obviously need to get them out so I can put the face back on. So I just put a magnet on this guy because this specific screwdriver I have with all the bits is not magnetic. I know I can get something to make these magnetic, which I may do now, but yeah, just a quick little magnet, and then I was able to pull the screw out and should be able to put it back in here shortly. Just for ease, I would take off the plastic protection maybe before you get this fully set. So I just got it on there. I was like, ooh, it's gonna make that harder. So I'm gonna get these off. Maybe the screen I'll leave on there yet, but just at least this one there, just get that off because it kind of covers that corner. All right, and also when you're putting this, make sure you hook this guy back up and then just kind of wiggle this in on around your stuff. Yeah, there we go. Also, now that I have this trim in place, I put the screw in for this guy, the one that's kind of hidden back in there, which is probably hard to see from me on there. There it is back there. And then I'll do the same thing on the key one over here before I do any tightening of the screws on this guy, because it'll kind of lock those screws into place. So there we go. These two screws definitely took a couple minutes just because of the angle. You just got to figure out where that hole is. And obviously with the magnet on there, the screw stayed on there, and I just kind of kept trying different angles before I finally set it down in, and then just work at it. Just take your time. Well, it's very nice to have my car put back together again. I've only owned the car a little over a couple weeks now, maybe, tops. So I think we're coming up on 2 weeks tomorrow. Oh, come on. I'm trying to get this last screen protector off before we turn it back on. And haha, there we go. Okay, so let's do this. Just put the key in, turn on accessories, turn off the blower, let it boot up. Now, here's the other thing that I've noticed is it takes a short amount of time, really, for it to boot up. It's not like a normal automotive radio. It does take time to boot up. So that's one thing that I will say that I've noticed as well. Give this a moment. Sorry about the glare. But I am not going to fast forward this at all. I'm going to let it see exactly how it goes. I am going to, there we go. Now it's up. So make sure the volume's down so we're not going to get blared. Come on. Boot up. Let me do the volume. There we go. All right, we're at 0. So let's go back to the home screen. And the mile per hour button will actually toggle the home screen. So home screen, I apologize, the CarPlay pulled my phone over. So that's the only reason I stopped the video. But this mile per hour button will cycle, but it basically takes you back to the home screen. And there's two different home screens, one with time, which the time is not right, and information rate apps, or just to push the actual speedometer up there. Does work. I don't know if it's going off the car's system or if it's going off GPS. That I haven't figured out yet, because sometimes it's always within a mile per hour of my actual vehicle one over here. At least so far that I've noticed. However, it could just be a rounding thing, right? So I don't know for sure. That might be something that I'm gonna have to look into. So apps, and I did hook up that we do have that dash cam hooked up, and if we actually go over to this traffic safety one, that actually opens up the turn off the headlights. That's the actual dash cam up there. So you can see there is a blue light on the dash cam while it's being, I don't know if it's while it's recording or not or what. Now I will say this as well, that originally I thought it records to this. It doesn't. There's actually one right on the side of the dash cam. It does come with a flash card installed. And the very first time I opened this app, it asked me to, hey, we need to format the card. And then I just hit format. So I didn't get that on video, but I'm gonna go back to the home menu here. And one thing I wanted to see is, I wonder if I have to have it on to put it in reverse. And the reverse camera is supposed to come up automatically. Look at that. So right now we don't have the reverse camera on. That's something I'm gonna have to figure out. But I didn't want to have my dash all apart while I'm trying to figure out the dash or the backup camera. So we are fully operational aside from backup camera. Now the only other thing that I have to do is do the OBD port. And the other thing that I've noticed is volume. Like if I'm listening to FM radio, I showed that before. One tick up is louder than I think it should be. That's something I think we can actually adjust in settings. I just gotta figure that out. Okay, right now it's not looking very clean, but here we go. So there's a blue wire. There's the red, the black, and the blue wire that's coming from the relay that goes to the backup camera. The red wire goes to a 12-volt connection, which I actually tapped into one right down here. That's accessory driven, so it's off when the vehicle's off, but on when the vehicle's on. So I'm just on a fuse there. I pulled a cable up here, and that's what power, wherever the power one is. Right there, geez, right here. Red wire coming up. Ground, there are two ground cables in here. I used one of them, so G and D. I pulled the black to one of the ground connectors that are already coming off the wiring harness on the radio. And then that blue wire, go that to the back 12-volt out. Essentially, that triggers the relay. Whenever you go into reverse, it triggers the power to send the power back to the camera, which then will turn on. Now, because I'm manual, I don't have to run that blue wire to the backup light for the tail light itself, so I don't have to run that one. So that's nice. That's one wire I won't have to run. But if you're manual, I think you do. You have to run that blue wire back as well. That said, there we are. We are now all set up, and it is operational. I've double checked, so I got to clean that up a little bit before I actually put the radio back in. Yay. Okay, we're going to do a quick test on the backup camera. I'm going to kick this light off so we can see it better. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to throw it in reverse right now. Hey, there we go. So the camera's just sitting back there because I don't have it mounted yet. But now I know that 12-volt and the camera feed is good. Now I've noticed that if the bars don't come up until we have to kind of wait till the radio boots up. Once the radio boots, then we should actually have those backup lines. Or maybe let's try again. Let's just do it again. Yep, so not yet. So Android is starting. So it appears as though once it's up, as I did last time, the overlays. Maybe not. There we go. Yep, so once the radio boots up, then you get the overlays. And I'm sure you can probably change those. But of course, they're not going to be tied. Oh, are they tied with my steering? Oh, they are. That's cool. Sorry, CarPlay wanted to take over again. But it appears as though it's with my steering too. I did not anticipate that one. All right, well, so there we are, operational. So the last piece, other than finishing up the backup camera, is this OBD reader, which is wireless, and I'm wondering if they already have it programmed. That's what I gotta find out. Oh, let's see here. Wi-Fi, connect OBD to OBD port, connect head unit, OBD adapter via Wi-Fi, tap torque from apps menu to use. All right, so I have that connected now. Okay, so to use this, we're gonna go, I think, the apps, settings, network. So Wi-Fi is off. So if I kick that on, click on Wi-Fi. Oh, yep, Wi-Fi OBD2 saved. It's Wi-Fi. I'm gonna have to turn that off probably. So I turned the Bluetooth on my phone off, so it shouldn't automatically kick back over. I'm gonna have to check to see if that's something that you have to do every time. So connected. Okay, so we're connected. Connecting, connected. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit home, and I just read the package. It said torque, so that's, oh, right there. Torque. Profile not set up. No data. All right, I don't know what I have to do.
Caution, icy conditions.
Oh wait, profile not set up. Oh, maybe that's just because there's no GPS right now. It looks like the other three are online. Fault codes. Okay, hit back. Real-time information.
Caution, icy conditions.
So yeah, we are not on. So I'm gonna have to take a peek at this once I actually have it turned on, I guess. All right, open my garage. So you can see what the revs are. Yeah. So throttle, acceleration. Obviously, we're not going coolant level stuff. We're actually getting everything. Now, of course, it said that it was connected. And there's different screens. Oh, that's just cool. Oh, your time to do your, well, this is kilometers per hour. Yeah, 0 to 60 right there, ready. Well, that's just awesome. You can see all the information there. Cool. Start logging, clear logs, reset trip. That's just cool. And then of course you can always head back to home. Okay, since I figured out that the camera for that replaces the light won't work just because of what I have here, I can't mess around with this light, unfortunately. I really wish I could, but I just don't see a way forward. So, got this. I actually purchased this camera separately. I drilled a hole, just bolts through, and then I drilled a small hole for the connector to go through the body and everything. Now I'm going to seal this with some silicone so it can't leak, but it comes through right here. And then the nice thing about this camera is it's just this small connector right here. And then the cable, and it comes with the cable to go from this all the way essentially to the front of the car. I have this power adapter. I had some of these 12-volt plugs that I connected to this. I got to seal it all up and everything, but that's for the power, which I already have coming in from my kit. And then the video, I just had a coupler so I can plug this in. So I don't plan on cutting this right now. I don't need this as the trigger wire for the camera that I purchased. I'm going to seal that up as well. Seal that up. That plugs into that. And then that has these loop wires to basically if you want the backup thing, which I don't need. I'll have to modify these, but I can cut this wire and it'll change to reverse, it'll mirror the image, whatever I want to do. So figure that out, but that's what that is. But yeah, that's the camera. I'll put a link down to this camera as well, but I think this is going to work really good. And once I seal that up, I shouldn't feel too bad about it leaking or anything. So I got my nice little sealed hole there. Got these guys all wrapped up, zip tied to this little clip so they're not going to bounce around or go anywhere. I got everything tied up in here. I'm not going to put the cover back on here until I feel very comfortable that everything's good. And maybe after the next time it rains or whatever, or maybe, I don't know. I just like to double check things. I squirted it on both sides. It's not, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's pretty well good to go. But yeah, I got that to put back on, and then it's basically done. I've tested it, but I'll show you what it looks like on the camera. First, here's what it looks like on the back of the car. It looks factory, right? It looks great. I wish it was more centered, but like I said, I don't have anywhere I can put it. There are license plate brackets that you could put it right here, but I didn't want to get in the way of my latch for the hatch, so that wasn't going to work for me. Then you have the lights on either side. You have the fasteners. There's no way to mount it really, so that's the best I could do. And in all reality, it looks pretty good. Okay, so keys in. I'm not going to start the engine. I'm just going to start the car, the electronics portion. And like, so while it's booting up, if I put it in reverse, it should kick over. Yep. And we don't have any lines right now because the radio itself is booting up. So I'll give it a second. Let me pop it back out. After it boots up, we'll actually have those measurement lines. So let's give it a second. Okay, now that we're booted up, put it in reverse. And now, let's see. Yep, now we have the lines that do counteract. Now my steering, obviously there's no power steering, but that should move. You can kind of see it moving when I move the steering a little bit. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works, how accurate it is. But I mean, obviously you can tell we're off center a little bit, but you know what? It looks good. Now you can see how the camera, how rear view camera works. At least it is technically mirrored. For the benefit of you looking back, because it's going to be looking like you're looking in a mirror. But those lines on this camera, I can change that at any time and mirror it if I need to. So, but there we go. That's backup camera's now in. Awesome. Okay, so I wanted to show you, I've actually had it installed now for over a month, and this is what it looks like in my cabin now. I still have up here the dash cam as well as the GPS for the system. The microphone placement that I actually put it in here has actually worked out pretty good. I've had nobody complain that they can't hear me or anything, but you know, I don't usually ever prefer to use in-cabin audio. Usually I like to keep it semi-private, so I usually use an AirPod or something, but it's actually worked pretty good. Now I'm going to turn the vehicle on and at least show you what it looks like here. But in all reality, it looks pretty darn good. And I'm going to go over a couple things that are a little off. So let me get my vehicle started up here. And we are going to lose audio. So when AirPlay connects, or CarPlay, I apologize. Let me get that turned off. Or at least down. But this is how the boot up process. Now all the lights here, everything functions. If I turn on cruise control turns on. The only downside is in direct sunlight, this is hard to see unless you're looking directly at it like this. Otherwise, off to the side, it gets a little dimmer. So you can see it's not dark outside, and you can see what it looks like from here. But let's get this booted up, and then I'll come back. Okay, now since I use the CarPlay system primarily, whatever I use last, that's usually how it comes up. So I used CarPlay last before I turned off the vehicle, so it comes up. Now with this specific car, the Mini Cooper, it does not have you know, it could be because I also have the manual and everything, but when I turn the vehicle off, this radio will die immediately. There is no, you know, the radio stays on for how long after you turn it off. It does not do that, and basically it just kills power to the radio. So every time I turn the vehicle back up or turn the vehicle back on, it just takes a minute for everything to come back up how you see it here. So that's one thing to notice, but that's just how this vehicle is, how everything's powered. Now, of course, I'm sure I could figure out how to wire it a little bit different and put a delay and things on it, but it is what it is. That's how it goes. Same thing goes, this mile per hour button, if I kick it, it'll kick me over and actually show me my speed. If I kick it again, it'll go back to the main menu. You can also do that obviously from the CarPlay menu as well. But yeah, that's kind of how everything looks here. Now I wanted to show a couple things. So the nice thing is even when it's in boot up mode, right after you turn the vehicle on and this is booting up, even if you throw it in reverse, the camera will actually show up. It doesn't need the actual operating system to be fully booted for you to use the camera, but it won't show the markings like you're going to see here. These markings don't show up until the radio is actually fully booted, but you'll always be able to see the camera itself. And if I turn my steering wheel, it does, you know, that prediction of where you're going. Really nice, actually, to be honest. And then the other thing that I've noticed is if I'm playing CarPlay or you know, music or audio through CarPlay, if I put it in reverse, it will pause the CarPlay until I take it back out of reverse, and then it'll start playing automatically. I thought maybe there would be a way to change that. I have not found it yet. In the apps, there is settings, and if we actually go into settings, we can go into car. In car, there is factory settings, and then the password here is 318, and hit OK. And then we can get into the actual factory settings, turn things on and off. But I have found stuff for the radio to pause and stuff like that. However, where is it at? But yeah, you can see there's a lot of settings in here. I don't know if that one's actually here. I'm going to exit out of here. If you do save, then it does force the radio to restart real quick. Let's go back into car. Those are the factory settings. Then there's extra settings, and I think maybe here, reverse volume on. Yep, there we go. So you can see I actually have it turned on, but when I'm in CarPlay, it still does pause it. So that's something that I don't know why it does that, and it's not a big deal. You can also X mirror, you're reversing it. You can change a lot of settings in this thing, and that's kind of the neat thing, is I have the capability of changing all these things to fit it how I want, and then once you have it how you like it, and there you go. Now here's one thing that I have noticed, that even though this is miles per hour, and if I click this will show miles per hour while I'm driving. This is miles per hour, but if I set cruise control, I wonder if I can turn this on and do it while I'm sitting here. No, the cruise control settings are in kilometers per hour. Now, not a big deal, because as I'm setting cruise control, it'll actually tell me my speed down here in miles per hour. It's just weird. So I'm just kind of getting used to when I set it. You set it to whatever. If I set this to 115 kilometers per hour, which is like 70 miles per hour, once you set the setting, it'll actually go back and actually show you the miles per hour. So it's only while you're setting the speed, and I don't know why that is. Maybe there's a setting I haven't found yet, but that's that. Yeah, so all in all, I am really happy I did this install. I really am. I love the fact that I have capability of all these things. I love the fact, I mean, the torque settings, the traffic safety. So like if I go up my traffic safety camera, there's my front camera. I can pull it up at any time and know it's recording. It prints all the information. It's weird that it's in kilometers per hour. Maybe there's a setting I can change that too. But you know, there it is. You know, that's the, oh, and that's actually turning it off is that button. It doesn't turn it off. It just kind of puts it to sleep. But yeah, that's the radio, and the install went really smooth. It took, you know, I just tediously, slowly went through, and of course it's going to pull me off here. Sorry. Maybe it doesn't. All right. But yeah, that's the install, and